I really want to talk to you about how to permanently remove collections from your credit report. If you're frustrated about collections on your credit report and you tried a lot of scenarios and things don't work, I want you to stick around till the end of today's conversation because I'm going to break it down. I'm going to actually show you step by step what you need to do to remove those collections from your credit report permanently. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, we're going to address an important topic. How do you permanently delete collections from your credit report? It's kind of really, it's important to understand how the collection process starts. It's very easy. If you stop paying a bill, if you owe money on a credit card, on a loan, and you stop paying a bill after 3 to 6 months, that's when everything starts. Okay, so each original creditor or medical office or lender has a policy regarding what they call uncollectible debts. Okay, a company might sell the account to a debt collector. It might turn the account over to a collection agency. It could even write the account off and make no further collection attempts. But that's not the norm. Okay, so basically you have a uncollectible bill that goes to a collection agency, and then you have a collection account that is created. One thing you need to understand is that once a collection account is created, you're going to have those annoying phone calls that, those are not telemarketing calls, as we all know. Those are calls that are asking for money, right? And so you have those collection calls, and the whole process doesn't stop there. You have further damage that's been done to your credit report, which is more important because the annoying calls are kind of cool. I mean, not cool, but they're kind of tolerable. But the permanent damage is done to your credit report. And when I'm talking about collection, I'm talking about all kinds of loans: credit cards, student loans, auto loans, utilities, services, government, and medical. The thing is that when you have collateralized loans, aka auto loans or mortgages, you either have a repo or a foreclosure. In other words, the lender or the debt owner will proceed to seize the property that's serving as the underlying collateral. One thing you need to understand is that collections are something you need to take very seriously because they stay on your credit report for up to 7 years from the date the debt first became delinquent and was brought current. Okay, so 7 years. So you never want to get in that territory. You never want to get to that level. So if you can pay it off, if you can settle the debt, if you can manage the debt, if you can talk to creditors, please take any step possible to avoid the collection process. But if it happens, hey, listen, life happens, stuff happens. We're going to learn how to fix it today. Okay. All right. Step number one: if you want to remove collections from your credit report permanently, the first step you need to take is to request something called a goodwill deletion. You need to request a goodwill deletion. Okay, you need to delete it. And the thing here is that this is a tactic you need to adopt if you have paid the debt already. Okay, so basically, let's say you just you owe $1,000 and you have paid the debt, and you realize after monitoring your credit report that the collection is still in your credit report. So you have to contact the lender, and you have to contact the credit bureau, Equifax, Experian, or Transunion, to request that they would actually remove it. And you got to send something called a goodwill letter template. Okay, and I wish you you right now on the screen a template. And one thing you need to understand is that goodwill letters are also known as goodwill forgiveness removal letter. So regardless of the name that you prefer, here is how you should write the letter. First, you need to know that goodwill letters should be unique and reflect your individual situation. They should also be brief and clear. Please do not use templates. You have to write a bespoke letter. Otherwise, that letter will be tossed away by the credit bureaus or the lender because they this is what they do every day. They see a lot of goodwill letters, so they will know right away if yours is just a template. It has to be non-generic. So you want to explain why you are asking for this kind of help. If you're trying to get a mortgage and your old payment history is holding you back, let the creditor know. Take responsibility for the missed payments or late payments, but also explain that the old negative marks on your credit do not reflect your current habits and personal finances. You also want to explain how much a second chance could help your financial life back on track. Okay, so this is a template that I'm showing you right now. So you basically just talk about, you put the date, the creditor name, or the name of the credit reporting agency, the creditor address or the address of the credit reporting agency, the zip code, state, and you put the name of the rep that you have there. And you just explain what the letters is in reference to. You can see on the screen right now, and you can see exactly, you just talked about what happened, where you are right now, and you just kind of explain. But again, please be very respectful here because you are the one asking for a favor. So you're not in a powerful position, so you have to be very careful about the kind of tone and content you write. So be very polite, be very courteous, and explain exactly what happened. So we're going to leave the template letter on the screen for a while for you to see. And actually, if you need to have a copy of that letter, just drop us a comment and we'll just email it to you so you can use it, no problem. One thing I want to say here is that you should not send a goodwill letter in some cases. You should never send that. So you send a goodwill letter when older negative information pulls down your credit score, assuming the negative information is also accurate information. Federal law requires the credit bureaus and your creditors to report only accurate information about your credit history. Okay, so let's say if a credit card company, a student loan lender, medical clinic, or another vendor has another creditor has reported inaccurate information, you don't need to send a goodwill letter. You send a dispute letter. This is where the difference lies. Okay, so if anything is wrong on your credit report, you really, that in that scenario, you are in a position of force. Okay, so you have to send a dispute letter. You can do it yourself, or if you don't have time and you have a little bit of money, you can actually hire a credit repair company to take care of it. Okay, because at the end of the day, guess what? Inaccurate information hurts your credit just as much as accurate information. Okay, you can dispute the negative information with the three credit bureaus, Transunion, Equifax, and Experian, or with the creditor itself. Sometimes you have to send dispute letters to the bureaus and your creditors. So after you send a goodwill letter, what will happen here is that it will all depends on the creditor. You can follow up with the creditor. You can understand exactly. You can have a conversation with the representative there, explain what happened, explain where you are right now. Again, try to be very courteous here, and so they will either respond to your letter, and they will accommodate your request, or they might say, you know what, we don't feel like doing it for you. We don't feel like granting you a favor. If you are lucky enough to have an agreement, in other words, if they consent to deleting the negative, the adverse item off your credit report, please get everything in writing. Okay, very important. You need to get everything in writing, and you want to make sure that you understand that you want to have the agreement in writing. You want to have your account number, and you want to follow up. Okay, if they don't do it, one thing for sure, if they said they will do it and they don't do it, then there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. As long as the information is accurate, there's nothing you can do. You cannot, you can try to hire a credit repair agency or company to take care of it for you. In other words, if you want them to talk to the lender, they might, maybe because they have some expertise that you don't have or you don't have the time for it. Remember that when we talk about credit repair, you have the for-profit section, but you also have non-profit credit repair and debt counseling agencies out there. So if you don't have cash, we have actually another show that will talk about non-profit credit repair agencies that will actually fix your credit for free. All right, and it's kind of important to understand that you want to fix that ASAP. Why? Because as you all know, a credit score has multiple elements. So you have the mix of credit accounts, the average age of credit accounts, the new credit checks, the hard pulls, the soft pulls, but you also have the payment history. And if your payment history is wrong, that will pull your credit down big time. So, folks, we are talking about how to permanently remove collections from your credit report, right? So, step number one, request a goodwill deletion. This is if the information is accurate. Step number 2, you want to dispute the collection if you found an error. Okay, and there are a lot of things you can do. If the goodwill letter falls flat and the debt collection remains on your credit report, it's time for a more advanced method. For this, you will need a current copy of your credit report. So Transunion, Experian, and Equifax will provide you with a free copy of your credit report once a year according to the law. Okay, you can go to a website called annualcreditreport.com. And so once you have your credit reports in hand or on screen, you want to find the negative item you like to have removed and check it out closely. You want to be very thorough here. It's all about being as precise and specific as possible. You want to confirm all the details, and if you see anything inaccurate, report the inaccurate information to the major credit reporting agencies. And I'm showing you right now on the screen the credit bureau dispute information for TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So we're going to put the address on the screen here. So for TransUnion, you have a PO Box 2000, Chester in Pennsylvania, and the address and the phone number and the time you can call. We do the same for Experian. So PO Box 4500 in Allen, Texas, the link and the phone number, and Equifax Information Services, PO Box 740256, and this is in Atlanta, Georgia, and the phone number as well. One thing you need to understand here is that the Fair Credit Reporting Act requires credit reporting agencies to show only accurate information in your credit history. So if you can find faulty information, those bureaus will have to fix the information. Okay, and if they can't fix it, they should remove the collections from your credit report. And this method can work because instead of simply disputing the entire entry, you're going to write an advanced dispute letter that lists especially what is inaccurate. And the cool thing here is that if one little tiny thing is inaccurate, the whole thing is inaccurate. You can find that in court. This is what an advanced dispute letter can help you with. Okay, so using this letter, you will insist that each piece of information is corrected or that the collection be removed. This makes it more difficult for the credit agencies to verify the collection and hopefully result in them simply removing the collection altogether. Okay, so here are items on the collection entry to check for inaccuracies: the balance, the account number, the date open, date closed. Check all dates. Please check all the dates. The account status, example closed. The payment status, example collection. Payment history, delinquency date, credit limit, high balance. Anything else that appears to be inaccurate, please check that. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a convo today about how to permanently remove collections from your credit report. Today, step number 3, I want to explain to you how to you need to ask the collection agency to validate the debt. So if you can't find inaccuracies on your credit reports, don't worry, don't panic. All right, there is still hope. You want to write to the collection agency and ask it to validate your debt. So under Section 809 of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, collection agencies are required to validate debts they are attempting to collect if you request that they do so. Okay? And the main issue here is that you have only 30 days to make the request after the collection agency first contacts you. All right? So be very, very speedy here. And if they cannot validate the debt, you can ask them to remove it from your credit report. And from a legal standpoint, you can do it. Okay? You can also dispute the account with a credit bureau even if it's accurate. The credit bureaus will launch an investigation on anything you dispute unless they consider it to be frivolous. All right. This is why earlier I was telling you to never use a generic letter. You want to write things yourself, or you want to have somebody write them for you. You don't want to have a template, because if they see a template, they just think that the whole thing is frivolous. You don't want that. Okay. And one thing I want to say also is that if a debt collection account is yours and is accurate, you can still dispute it. You'll have just to claim the account is not yours or that it is inaccurate in some way. The credit bureau will launch an investigation and has 30 days to verify the account belongs to you, or it must be deleted from your report. So this is the basic principle behind credit repair companies, really. They simply dispute the negative credit items and hopes the creditor fails to validate those items within 30 days, all right? So medical debt, for example, is one of the easier types of debt to remove from your credit report because of the HIPAA privacy laws, you may be able to get 50% or more of your medical collections removed from your report simply by disputing them. And other types of accounts are less frequently deleted, but getting half of them deleted is not uncommon. Step number 4, folks. You want to negotiate something called a pay for delete agreement. So this is kind of cool because when your original creditor cannot collect your past due balance, it will sell your debt to a debt collection agency, which means what? You now owe the money to the agency. But when the agency buys your debt, it doesn't pay the full amount, right? They probably pay only a fraction of what you owed on your original debt. So if the collection agency can get you to pay off the debt, it makes a profit anyway. As a result, you could leverage a payment in your negotiations. Okay, this is kind of cool. And so how do you negotiate a pay for delete agreement? You offer to pay part of your balance due in exchange for getting all negative information related to the debt of your credit report. Simple as that. You can offer, for example, to pay, let's say, 35% of old debts. Okay, but for this to work though, you have to get this agreement in writing. An agreement over the phone, guess what, will not hold up. Okay, you could do your part and pay the agreed upon amount only to learn the agent you spoke with didn't make a record of the deal, or even worse, is no longer working at the company. You don't want that. Okay, so you really want to get things in writing. So if you owe, for example, you owe $10,000 on an old credit card charge off, you'd have to pay 3,000, right, or 2,500 or 3,500, whatever you can afford. Remember that if you negotiate with your creditors to get a collection account removed, be sure all the negative data goes away. Not just a few. The whole thing has to go away. Very critical. Step number 5, folks. One thing I want you to do here, and we are getting a little aggressive here because I want to give you all the legal and all the processes you need to remove those collections from your credit report here. All right, you want to settle the debt and dispute it again. And I'll tell you the reason behind our thinking here. Many debt collectors will allow you to settle the debt for less than the amount owed. Okay, maybe 80%, 50%, 40%, whatever the percentage is. Since they purchased the debt for pennies on the dollar, they can accept half or a quarter of the balance and still make a significant profit. So you just want to call the collection agency and tell them you wish to settle the debt. Usually they will want the full payment and will knock between 20 and 60% off the balance to settle the account in full. When you pay the debt, it does not help your credit score and doesn't delete your report's account. But you will now be able to go back to the credit bureau and dispute the item again and hope the creditor does not go through the hassle, really, the whole frustration of validating a debt that has been paid, right? Because not only do they have no time for it, they have no incentive to do so. So they may not respond to the credit bureau's request. Step number 6, you want to wait for the account to be sold and disputed. So as you know, debt is constantly being sold and resold from collection agencies, right? So you have an entire market, an entire secondary or tertiary market where loans and debts are being sold and resold. So when one collection agency cannot get a payment on a debt, they may choose, for example, to sell the debt to another collection agency to try and collect. At this point, the creditor listed on your credit report really no longer has your account information. Okay, so that's the thing. So the picture I'm trying to paint here is that you have to understand the movement of your debt so that you understand if the creditor listed on your credit report no longer has your account information, you can easily dispute that debt and may have luck having it deleted. Step number 7, you want to wait a few months and you want to dispute the account again. Why? Well, if you fail to get the collection removed from your credit report after 2 tries or 1 try, don't lose hope. You want to let a couple of months pass by, okay, and try to dispute the account for another reason. You can dispute accounts for several different reasons, and the older the paid collection gets, the more likely the creditor will ignore the credit bureau request. So you want to use time in your favor here. Step number 8, folks. So all the steps that I've given you in the last 4 or 5 steps, those are DIY. In other words, things you can do yourself. Now, step number 8, you might consider hiring a professional. In other words, you want to hire someone who understands the ins and outs of collection removal or credit repair here. Okay, so you can hire a credit repair agency. Let's first understand the pros and cons here. If you don't like writing letters, calling the lender and finding the right person, or coming up with the cash to settle a repossession or a loan or a debt, you could hire a professional credit repair company to help. And those companies will not do anything you couldn't do yourself. But they do this kind of work every single day, so they have an expertise that goes beyond, above and beyond common knowledge, right? If it's possible to remove a debt, a collection, a repo, a good credit repair company will get the job done. You will pay a monthly fee for this kind of service, though, but having the repo, the debt, or the loan off your credit will pay for itself in lower interest rates and freedom from getting a cosigner every time you need to borrow money, right? So, what is really credit repair? I mean, credit repair is just traditionally thought of as the process of improving your credit by disputing errors on your credit reports. Okay, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act requires that information in your credit reports be 100% accurate and fair. Otherwise, it must be removed. And the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, actually, according to their research, they found that 1 in 5 people in the United States had an error on at least one of the 3 credit reports. Okay, so this makes really credit repair a real option for improving credit for a lot of people. And one thing I want to say here is that the credit repair has its pros and cons. Okay, and what are the pros and cons here? Credit repair is a great option if you're looking to make changes to your score quickly. If disputes are successful, you could see changes in as little as 30 to 45 days instead of waiting for the 7-10 years for negative items to naturally fall off your credit report. And credit repair agencies typically charge a monthly fee, and some may also charge a one-time setup fee. So that's one of the drawbacks here. You can end up paying anywhere from $60 to $200 a month. So this sounds like a lot, but if it's effective, you can end up saving much more over the long run if you are eligible for better interest rates after your credit improves. Another consideration is that improvement is not a guarantee. Okay, everyone has a unique credit situation. Yours is different, mine is different, and some are more complex than others. So there may be errors to correct and efforts to correct, and in some cases, those efforts may be unsuccessful. So if you are in a hurry to improve your credit, have the money to spare, and are willing to do the research, working with a credit repair company could be the way to go. So speaking about credit repair agencies, we've actually found a few credit repair companies that could help you remove the collection, the repo, or the whatever adverse accounts you have. And we have actually covered this on another show, so I'm not really going to go in details here, but here are some of the best credit repair companies that we have found. So you have a Credit Saints, and this is best for overall results. And their programs are one of the most aggressive in the industry. Okay, if you don't see any improvements in the first 90 days, you get a full refund. We really love this pledge here because it shows that they really know their stuff and they're confident in their ability to help you. So that's Lexington Law, and that's a Credit Sync rather. And Lexington Law is kind of cool too. They are strong players as well. They have decades of experience. I think 30 to 35 years experience, and they are very aggressive. They do have both the financial and the legal background that is sometimes needed when it comes to credit repair, especially when you're dealing with fiscal debts like a tax lien, that kind of stuff. And that Lexington Law is kind of cool also. The third credit repair company that we would recommend is Sky Blue, and this is a great player also. They have great customer service. They will actually assign a coach to you. They are reasonable in terms of the cost. They will charge you about $80 a month, and they are very known for their speed. They are very agile from a credit repair perspective. Another company I want to refer to you, I want to recommend, not refer, I want to recommend to you is creditrepair.com. This is actually a platform that is very agile also, that's very simple, very transparent, and they have actually combined technology with personal finance to have a great platform. And we love their 3 steps, what they call their trifecta: check, challenge, and change. So check, they will look over your credit reports from the 3 bureaus to find inaccurate information or derogatory remarks that could be in dispute. And then they will challenge, they will send letters challenging disputable negative information in your reports. And the third part of the trifecta is they will change. In other words, they will follow up to make sure your reports get changed and repeat the challenge step if necessary. Another great credit repair company you might want to contact is Ovation by LendingTree. And we love them because they are also very good. They have personalized service. This is a company that has, Ovation is owned by LendingTree, a strong player in the lending industry. So this is a great company. And the one drawback here is that you will not have access to 24/7, 365 active duty customer support. So this is something just to be aware of. We also want to recommend to you to check out the Credit People, another great credit repair company. If you are trying to permanently remove collections from your credit report, the Credit People can help you, and they're very cheap. We love them because they're cheap. They have low cost credit repair. They have excellent service. Okay, for this is like $19. It will cost you $19. Whereas if you go with Lexington Laws of the world, the Credit Sense of the world, you're paying like probably $80, $80 or $95. Okay, with the Credit People, you have $19, and they will help you. They will work with you, and the $19 is really for 7 days. I'm sorry, 7 days. But after that, if you're happy, then you want to sign for a long-term commitment, then they will charge you $79 a month, right? And we have also Pyramid. So Pyramid Credit Repair is another great company that they cater to singles and couples and married couples. In other words, they will help you with a holistic solution in terms of credit repair. They will send letters. They will dispute items, adverse items on your credit report. They will do everything. They will even coach you from a personal finance perspective also. And then we have creditfirm.net. Here is another company that has a strong reputation. We really recommend them as well. They have we love the fact that they have a simple, flat payment model. So you pay about $50 a month, and they'll take care of everything. They will contact the three credit bureaus. They will do everything to boost your credit. They will stay in touch with you. They will assign a rep to you. You also have the credit pros, not to be confused with the Credit People, right? So the Credit Pros, they boast a whole constellation of comprehensive financial tools, and they actually will assign to you a certified FICO professional who will work with you to create an action plan to repair your bad credit. And they're pretty fast too. They're really fast. As a matter of fact, if you start the process online, they'll get back to you within 90 seconds. And this is really true because we tested it, and they actually got back to us within 75 seconds. So they are really they are very aggressive also. And, I mean aggressive in the good way though. And then you have last but not the least, you have Pinnacle Credit Repair Management. They are also good. This is another great company that can help you if you're looking to permanently remove collections from your credit reports. All right, so those are the 10 that you have to think about. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was speaking to you about how to permanently remove collections from your credit report. And step number one, request a goodwill deletion. Number two, dispute the collection if you found an error. Number three, you want to ask the collection agency to validate the debts. Number four, you want to negotiate something called a pay for delete agreement. Number five, you want to settle the debt and dispute it again. Number six, you want to wait for the account to be sold and disputed. Number seven, you want to wait a few months and dispute the account again, right? Number eight, you want to consider hiring a professional. Thank you so much, folks, for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.